While murder mysteries get all the hype, there's one mystery way more intense and way creepier: what really hides at the bottom of the ocean. We know more about outer space than we do about what's going on down there, and that's not just wild, it's super terrifying. So join us for today's video as we're going to count down the 15 deep-sea mysteries that will freak you out. Number 15. The Lost Submarines of 1968. Well, you won't believe it, but 1968 was a cursed year for submarines. 4 of them, each from a different nation, vanished under strange and deadly circumstances. The US lost the USS Scorpion, Israel lost INS Dakar, France lost Minerve, and the Soviet Union lost K-129. Altogether, 318 lives were gone, and the causes still mostly a mystery. These weren't training exercises gone wrong, they were full-fledged, state-of-the-art submarines that vanished without warning. Now conspiracies bloomed, Cold War sabotage, collisions, and even experimental weapons, but none of the official investigations gave a concrete answer that tied them all together. Wreckage was eventually found for some, but not all, and what was recovered left more questions than answers. What spooked everyone is the timing. 4 disasters in the same year, across 4 countries, with 0 shared cause. Some called it a coincidence. Others weren't so sure. Even decades later, 1968 is still whispered about in naval circles. Submarines disappear sometimes. But 4 in 1 year? That's more than strange. It's straight up unsettling. Number 14. Kolokitha Bay Ruins. In 2015, a team of Greek and Swedish archaeologists uncovered something unexpected in Kolokitha Bay, just south of Athens. They weren't looking for lost cities, just pottery. But what they found was the outline of an ancient city sprawled across 12 acres underwater. It wasn't just a pile of broken rocks either. This place had defensive walls, towers, and clear urban planning, suggesting it was a fully functioning Bronze Age settlement. The kicker? Well, these kinds of defensive towers hadn't been found in any other ancient Greek underwater sites. That alone makes this place stand out. The city likely met its end through a combination of natural disasters or rising sea levels, but the exact reason it vanished remains unclear. What's certain is that this wasn't just another random ruin, it was a well-organized city that thrived long before vanishing beneath the waves. Kolokitha Bay added another chapter to Greece's already massive history book, and it reminded everyone that even in a place as studied as Greece, the sea still hides secrets. Number 13. The Julia Sound. In 1999, NOAA's underwater microphones picked up something weird. It was a deep, drawn-out sound that lasted around 15 seconds. They named it Julia. The sound came from somewhere in the equatorial Pacific Ocean and was so loud, it was picked up by sensors over 3,000 miles apart. At first, some people speculated it could have been a massive marine creature, something larger than any known species. That theory didn't last long, though. It was later suggested that the sound probably came from an iceberg scraping along the ocean floor or cracking as it broke apart. Still, the mystery lingers. No similar sound has ever been recorded since, and nothing about it was completely definitive. The weird part, around the same time, there were rumors that a NASA satellite picked up a massive underwater shadow near Antarctica. That footage was never officially released, but it added fuel to the fire. Whether it came from a natural event or something we've never identified, Julia remains one of the strangest ocean sounds ever captured. Number 12. The mysterious light wheels. For centuries, sailors have reported eerie, glowing circles spinning across the ocean's surface, phenomena now known as light wheels. These massive luminous rings can stretch hundreds of feet across, often appearing suddenly in calm waters and vanishing just as fast. The first documented reports date back to the 1700s, and they still happen today, mostly in tropical waters. Oceanographer Kurt Kalla suggested that these strange displays might be caused by bioluminescent plankton reacting to seismic waves or disturbances in the water. It's a solid theory, but it doesn't fully explain why the lights spin in perfect formation or how they maintain such symmetry. Some appear to rotate, others pulsate. There's no consistent shape or behavior, making scientific study difficult. No ships have ever been harmed by them, but the surreal sight has deeply unsettled many crews. They're bright, weirdly silent, and show up without warning. Even with modern tech, we still don't have a firm explanation, just the unsettling feeling that something unknown is still playing games on the ocean's surface. Number 11. The Gulf of Khumbat Ruins. In the early 2000s, sonar scans off the coast of Gujarat, India, revealed geometric patterns on the seafloor in the Gulf of Khumbat, patterns that looked suspiciously like city layouts. That alone would have been wild. But then researchers began recovering artifacts, pottery fragments, tools, and even what seemed to be human remains. Radiocarbon dating put some of the finds at around 9,500 years old, predating the Indus Valley civilization by millennia. That kind of timeline would rewrite history. But here's the catch. The area was dredged, not carefully excavated, so critics argue that the artifacts might have been mixed up by ocean currents. Some scientists believe it's just natural geology. Others say it's solid proof of a forgotten civilization swallowed by rising seas after the last ice age. The site remains controversial, with ongoing debates over the data's accuracy and context. Still, if the dating holds, the Gulf of Khumbat ruins could represent one of the oldest urban settlements ever found, making it either a misunderstood fluke or one of archaeology's biggest missed headlines. Number 10. The Cannibal Shark. In 2014, Australian researchers tagged a healthy 9-foot great white shark to track its actions. Well, everything was normal, until it wasn't. Just weeks later, the tracker washed ashore. The data it recorded was bizarre. First, a sudden spike in temperature, followed by a rapid 900-foot dive straight into the deep. Something massive had swallowed the shark and taken the tracker with it. After analyzing the data, scientists concluded that the predator was likely another great white, much larger, estimated at around 16 feet long, and weighing over 2 tons. That meant one great white had eaten another. Cannibalism among sharks isn't new, but the size and force involved in this event were shocking. It left researchers stunned, and the public completely rattled. The ocean's food chain doesn't get more savage than this. The idea that a bigger, meaner predator could take out an already fearsome great white reminded everyone that the deep sea operates on a whole different level, and that even top predators aren't always safe. Number 9. Leptocephalus giganteus. In 1930, Danish researcher Anton Frederick Brun described a strange eel larva pulled from the deep. Then, in 1959, another specimen, just as baffling, was documented by marine biologist Peter Henry John Castle. Both were larvae of a species known as Leptocephalus giganteus, and both were absolutely massive. One of them measured 6 feet long, and it was still in the larval stage. Since most eel larvae are only a fraction of their adult size, this raises some very serious questions. If these things ever reached full maturity, how big could they get? Some scientists theorized a fully grown Leptocephalus giganteus could stretch 50 feet or more, making it one of the largest eel species ever recorded, if it even exists as a distinct species. Others argue it might have been misclassified, or that it simply doesn't grow any larger. But with no adult specimen ever found, and only a few larval sightings in nearly a century, this deep-sea creature remains one of the ocean's most elusive and unsettling biological riddles. Number 8. The Gulf of Mexico Shipwreck. In May 2019, researchers from NOAA weren't hunting treasure. They were just testing underwater drones in the Gulf of Mexico. But what they found was unexpected: a wooden shipwreck resting silently on the seafloor. It had no nameplate, no clear markings, except for the number 2109 etched into part of the hull. Based on its construction and materials, experts believe the ship dates back nearly 200 years, probably from the early 1800s. The vessel's charred wood suggested it caught fire before sinking, but no one knows what caused it. Was it attacked? An accident? No one's sure. The Gulf of Mexico has seen centuries of shipping traffic, from Spanish galleons and pirates to traders and warships, so this wreck could belong to anyone. The wreck's deep location and fragile condition make further exploration tricky, but even in silence, the mystery lingers. What was it carrying? Who was on board when it burned and vanished? Until we get those answers, the Gulf of Mexico shipwreck remains an unsolved maritime ghost story. Number 7. The deadly undersea lake. Well, roughly 3,300 feet below the Gulf of Mexico, scientists discovered something that shouldn't exist: a lake within the ocean. Nicknamed the Jacuzzi of Despair, this brine pool is warmer, denser, and far saltier than the seawater around it. It's completely toxic. The lake is filled with methane and hydrogen sulfide, chemicals that are deadly to nearly all marine life. Any creature that drifts into it dies quickly, and their remains often collect at the edges of the pool. It's about 32 feet wide and 12 feet deep, and its dense brine prevents it from mixing with surrounding waters, creating a layered underwater hellscape. The site has fascinated scientists not just for its danger, but for its eerie similarities to the types of environments that might exist on icy moons like Europa or Enceladus. Studying this lake gives us a look at how life or death might work in extreme conditions. It's one of the most hostile spots on Earth, hidden deep below the ocean's surface, and it's absolutely not something you want to fall into. Number 6. The Milky Sea Effect. For a long time, stories about glowing oceans sounded like sailor exaggeration, until science caught up. The Milky Sea effect is a rare phenomenon where massive portions of the ocean begin to glow faint blue or white, turning the sea into what looks like a living galaxy. These glows have been recorded in the Indian Ocean and near Indonesia, sometimes spanning tens of thousands of square kilometers. The cause? Bioluminescent bacteria. When conditions are just right, their populations explode, and they emit a steady glow that can even be seen from space. But here's the thing: scientists still don't fully understand what triggers it. Why do the bacteria suddenly light up in sync? Why is it so widespread but also so rare? Satellites have helped us track these glowing seas, but the specifics remain frustratingly vague. Unlike lightning or auroras, this glow doesn't pulse. It just lingers quietly, as if the sea is lit from within. It's natural, but it feels otherworldly, and no one can fully explain it yet. What do you say? What is this thing? Number 5. The Bermuda Triangle. No list of sea mysteries can be complete without it. Between Miami, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico lies a patch of ocean with a reputation darker than deep space. The Bermuda Triangle has become shorthand for everything strange that happens at sea. Despite being one of the most heavily traveled regions in the Atlantic, it's been linked to countless vanishing ships and aircraft. The most infamous case: the U.S. Cyclops, a U.S. Navy cargo ship that disappeared in 1918 with 309 people on board, no distress call, no wreckage, nothing. And it's not the only story. There are reports of entire crews vanishing, aircraft losing all instruments mid-flight, and ships found drifting without a soul aboard. Scientists argue that natural phenomena like methane gas eruptions, violent storms, or compass malfunctions might explain some cases. But that hasn't stopped the theories. Magnetic anomalies, wormholes, even underwater bases. Whatever the truth is, the Bermuda Triangle has kept its eerie status alive for over a century. Whether myth or misunderstood science, its shadow still hangs over every ship that dares to cross. Now let's move to number 4, the Bimini Road. Off the coast of North Bimini Island in the Bahamas lies the Bimini Road, a strange underwater formation made up of massive limestone blocks, each one seemingly placed in a neat, almost too perfect path across the seafloor. Some are laid out side by side, while others even appear stacked. It stretches about half a mile, and to this day people argue over what it actually is. Skeptics say it's just a natural feature, the result of erosion and ocean currents breaking up the seabed over time. But others aren't convinced, pointing to the unnatural angles and the way the blocks line up as signs of possible human construction. Some tie it to Atlantis theories, while others think it could be part of an ancient maritime structure lost to time. Carbon dating places it between 2,000 and 4,000 years old, far too young to be Atlantis by Plato's account, but strange enough to stir curiosity. Whatever its true origin, the Bimini Road is an unsolved sea mystery. Number 3. The Baltic Sea Anomaly. In 2011, the Swedish diving team OceanX set out to find sunken treasure in the Gulf of Bothnia. What they found instead was something that no one could explain, a large circular object resting on the seabed, quickly nicknamed the Baltic Sea Anomaly. Sonar images showed a 200-foot-wide structure with unusual angles and what looked like steps, ramps, and even drag marks, suggesting it had moved before settling. Some said it resembled the Millennium Falcon from Star Wars. Things got even stranger when the team reported technical failures in the area. Radios, satellite phones, and even cameras stopped working near the object. Skeptics claimed it was just a rock formation shaped by glacial activity, and chemical tests didn't point to anything man-made. Still, questions linger. If it's natural, it's unusually symmetrical. If it's artificial, who made it? And why is it sitting at the bottom of the Baltic? Until someone recovers more than just sonar scans, the Baltic Sea Anomaly remains one of Europe's weirdest deep-sea mysteries. Number 2. The mythical city of Dwarka. For centuries, the city of Dwarka was thought to be nothing more than a legend, an ancient metropolis described in Hindu texts as the coastal kingdom of Lord Krishna, said to have been swallowed by the sea. But in the 1980s, that story was put to the test. Off the coast of present-day Dwarka in Gujarat, India, marine archaeologists discovered submerged stone structures that looked shockingly similar to what ancient texts had described. Carved pillars, steps, and sections of walls were mapped, and it became clear this wasn't just natural rock. The layout, materials, and artifacts hinted at a city that once thrived, possibly thousands of years ago. While exact dates are debated, some findings suggest the site could predate even the earliest known Indian civilizations. It hasn't been fully proven that this is the Dwarka of legend, but the underwater ruins have forced scholars to rethink what parts of mythology might actually be historical record. It's one of those rare cases where folklore and archaeology collide in a very real way. Number 1. Japan sits sunken monument. Across the world, sunken ruins have stirred theories about lost civilizations, but none have gripped people quite like Japan's Yonaguni Monument. Off the coast of Yonaguni Island, this massive underwater structure features sharp, angular formations that almost look too precise to be natural. Unlike the Bimini Road, which skeptics often dismiss as erosion, Yonaguni's massive platforms, steps, and what appear to be animal-like carvings have pushed some researchers to argue otherwise. Among them is Professor Masaaki Kimura, who believes this could be a man-made relic from thousands of years ago, possibly predating known Japanese civilization. He's pointed to features like tool marks, stone columns, and deliberate architectural symmetry as signs of intelligent design. Others still argue it's just nature playing tricks, but the debate hasn't cooled. The structure sits beneath strong currents, making exploration tough, and its origin remains up for debate. Whether it's an ancient city swallowed by the sea or a geological fluke, the Yonaguni Monument still stands as one of underwater archaeology's most debated puzzles. If you found this video interesting, be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more fascinating content like this. Thanks for tuning in with us, and we'll see you soon in the next one.